He is a gubernatorial candidate running on a platform to give citizens constitutional, binding authority to hold elected officials accountable beyond the ballot box. This is from Dirt We Grow. This is Stephanie Kendall, and this is the place for unfiltered truth and the deep dives into the real issues that it will take to make some real changes. We need to get the messages out because you know what?
This is a movement bigger than my show. This is a movement bigger than any one state. So we're talking about Florida today, but this conversation isn't just about Florida. It's about the direction of this country and whether everyday people are going to choose to still have a voice in it. And yes, that is our choice. So, Mr. Rodney Glover, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. And everybody who's gonna listen, she hit the nail on the head. I'm
Mm.
actually running for governor to put citizens in a place where we can have that legal authority, that constitutional binding authority to hold our elected officials accountable to its citizens far beyond just voting only. So thank you for having me.
Accountability, because we don't have that right
No,
now
we do not.
at all. So a little bit about yourself. You running for governor in Florida. You are a retired Navy man, so thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate your efforts. Tell me why you're running.
Well, I'm running literally because, after I retired after 22 years, you get out the military and you realize that you were in this bubble, this protective bubble of finances, of healthcare,
Hmm.
insurance. You're very protected. So even though things are happening simultaneously in this real world, it's different because being in the Navy, you're deployed 6 to 8 months, even sometimes a year plus. You come back, you try to reintegrate, see what's going on, and then you're out again. So for 22 years of that lifestyle,
Mm.
I got out and started wondering, like, why is everyone so upset? Because again, if I get sick, I just go to sick call.
Right.
No one asked me for a medical card. They just asked me to show my ID.
Mm-hmm.
You
Or
know,
you got
um,
insurance? Yeah,
yeah.
my uniform.
And there's this stipend that comes out of your check, but it covers everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never been asked to pay during that time frame an additional amount of money, so I was never worried
Mhm.
about that. Even having all of these coverages that were afforded to us as service members, and I'm looking around like, well, why are civilians so upset?
Mm.
And instead of just looking at just a surface level issue, I wanted to find just this root cause problem. Like we do in the military. Hey, you find me the core issue so we can address that.
Yes.
And in the state of Florida, I found out that the core issue, and not just the state of Florida, but in the United States of America, the core issue is lack of accountability to our elected officials.
Mm.
In the state of Florida, we have a statute. That's our recall statute. Our recall statute is what allows us to hold these individuals accountable. All of the legislative individuals are left off of this accountability statute, 100.361. So now it let me know that, hey, no matter how much you scream or how much they tell you to call your representative or pick up the phone or send in a letter or send in an email, this statute is a buffer layer that all of your woes stop at, because you don't have any legally binding way to say you're supposed to do what I tell you to do. And then I found out the same thing is at our federal level when we're concerned about our 435 members of Congress not doing their jobs. That's wrapped in Article 1, Section 5 of the United States Constitution. And it says that they can only police themselves. We're not going to fix any of these issues if citizens do not mandate that you put citizens in a position of authority that's constitutionally binding. So I looked at all of these candidates and said to myself, they've been lying this entire time.
The entire time.
The entire time. My entire 26 years of voting. You guys never one time said, hey, by the way, here is a law that says that I can't be recalled by you. So why have we been doing all of this screaming? There's
It seems like we've been doing too much accepting.
too much. And this is something that's interesting. You know, when you sign up for the military, there is a place where it says, hey, if we catch you lying, we can put you out. So you need to tell the truth even before you get in. When I signed up to run for office, there's not a single place that says
Mm.
you need to tell the truth. Not one. Not one document that says if you're caught lying, you're going to be disqualified as a candidate. I'm like, well, wait.
Wow.
I said, I joined the military when I was 17 years old. And they said, hey, if we catch you lying at MEPS, before you even raise your hand, you're off. You're out of here.
Yeah.
We're not holding these representatives who take all of our taxpayer
No.
money, who run our states more accountable than me at 17 years old.
Hmm.
And I'm just trying to get in to initially do push-ups and sit-ups to let you know that I'm strong enough to be here.
Mm-hmm.
That I can make a bet. You're holding me more
Right.
to integrity so you can teach me how to fold a corner in the bed.
That's powerful, man. Straight
There's
up.
something wrong when that's the reality.
That's actually kind of mind blowing. I mean, as you're saying it, I'm like, wow, it's like there's things in the back of your mind, but you don't put them together like that. Like you just did.
Absolutely. So when I started pointing these out, saying, hey, if you go look at Article 1, Section 5 of the Constitution, where does it say that that they are accountable to you, the citizen? It doesn't. It just simply says that Congress is supposed to police themselves. So if we know that there's corruption, and that's where the preamble and Article 1, Section 8. So if you're Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution says Congress is to lay and collect taxes and excises. But the end of that statement says for the general welfare of the United States of America. If citizens keep saying that we're the United States of America, then the question's gotta be, did they decide somewhere amongst themselves that the general welfare cuts off here? And they need to have that conversation out loud to say that, hey, we don't believe that the general welfare, the citizens of the United States of America, up to this point is where we stop considering your welfare. And just lay it out so citizens can at least start knowing. Because I don't think right now it's going to be a while. I'm running for governor to change the rules that don't work for citizens. I'm running for governor to put a clause inside of 100.361 that says that we've lost confidence in the elected official that we hire, and we want to pull you out. And I think, and I'm pretty sure that once you give citizens the ability to reach and touch these elected officials, we'll start heading in a direction where we start to actually see people who come into the job want to do right by the people. Because we're just not gonna up one day and, like I get elected the first day and all of the dark money and the lobbyist money that comes into the system, it's just not gonna stop that day.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a while. I think, like I told you in the interview, one of the biggest issues is access is provided, but the access isn't convenient. Most Floridians work a 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
The supervisor of elections office is open only Monday through Friday. So when I ask a citizen to say, hey, they say, how can I support you? And I'll say, oh, I have a petition on my website. I just need you to turn this in. Once you turn this in to your supervisor elections office, you're done. One of the first questions is, can I email it in? You cannot. Why not? Because the rules say you can't.
Mm.
The only way you can do this is you have to go in person, Monday through
And then it
Friday.
doesn't get done.
That's correct, because it became inconvenient.
Inconvenient.
So the politician will say that no, it's absolutely accessible, but you're going to have to either take off work or something's going to have to happen so that you can get there from 8 to 4.
something inconvenient in your life is going to have to happen.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So when I'm campaigning on inconvenience, you can see how that can be less desirable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I tell citizens, they say, well, I'm a write-in candidate, but I want the petitions because the petition gets your bubble on the ballot. Or you can just pay the $15,000 and get on the ballot.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say it's either signatures or money.
yes. So
Yeah.
when citizens say, well, why don't you just pay the 15,000? I'm a very honest person. I'm not paying $15,000 to get on a ballot for somebody who won't find the time to turn in a petition.
Mm,
It means to me that you might not even find time to actually get out there to the vote when it's
mm,
time for that. Over these 4 years, I actually have a written out plan for how we're going to take our voting system and make it electronic. So now everybody won't have to go to a precinct or try to figure out what your precinct is.
mm,
We're going to put this vote right at your fingertips, just like they did on American Idol.
mm. Okay, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, the technology is available and it was always been there. But the issue is when it's inconvenient, you can win. You can manipulate the system when it's inconvenient because people don't
It
want to
can
go.
take out the little grassroots people that don't have the corporations backing them.
You're 100% correct.
And this is why it is so important that the people start advocating for ourselves by electing the people that will advocate for ourselves. It's insane that we have to explain it that way, but it's so normalized for politicians to be these like rock stars or something, like they're idolized
You
and
know
they.
what's you know what I'm glad you said that because when
Mm,
I meet people in person or when I show up to their doors, they're always like, this has never happened before. And I'm always like, hey, why did you feel like you knew the person you were voting for?
mm,
If you've never met that person, I even get people always say, are you being serious?
mm,
So there people more identify when it comes to politics with people they never meet. I've had people tell me to my face like, hey, can you just have an online presence? Well, yes, I have an online presence. Well, I'll just go to your online presence because I feel like it's more real. And I'm like, it's more real than talking to me in person.
in person, right?
This is there for a lot of people it's more real.
That's
It's
insane.
it's kind of like when you go visit, like when you go to an event that's a booth event and you want to meet people. Well, the psychological thing behind it is when you go to these outside events with all these booths, the mentality is when I came out my house, I'm gonna only interact with what I want to. So if someone pops up and messes that up. Like if I walk up to you and say, "Hey, how you doing? My name's Rodney Glover. I'm running for governor of Florida." They don't want to be bothered, So it's like, and everybody's got their hand out for these interviews. People always say, "Oh, you got to get yourself out there." Well, you know what? It costs $3,500 a week just to put an ad in the paper. So now I tell people when you do it like this, now you wonder why so many candidates who maybe really want to help you keep asking you for your money. But I don't understand why I would ask you for your money, especially in times like today. Like I don't want $1 from you. I just want you to invest your time and give
Hmm.
your future. Just invest your time because that's what I'm going to ask from you in your future.
And maybe a little bit of your time what is probably important for you to be able to protect your future, like it's your future, so maybe invest a little bit more time and then you'll have more money.
You're 100% correct.
What would, if you get there, what would be like the first thing you would change? What are you trying to do besides what you already stated?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the first things I want to do is I want to immediately change the put a moral clause or an integrity clause in the candidacy application area to where now it does say that if you are running for any elected position, misinformation or disinformation will not be tolerated. Matter of fact, we're gonna
Tolerated.
have
That is so
zero
important.
zero tolerance for it because when you're in this position, you're telling people that you're at least doing the research before you put something out. It's different than answering a question that you may not have the data on.
Mm.
If you are putting it out, like when you're running for, oh, I want to fix insurance, or I want to fix, rent. Well, I think that you should be actually talking about the bills that are in place, like for Florida. You should be talking about Senate Bill 102, which permanently banned all rent control in Florida. This was done in 2023. There are so many people
Wow.
running for office using these talking points, knowing that you should be saying that, hey, the first thing we have to do is attack this bill that's in place that banned this in the first place. But I don't see any candidates speaking like that. They only use the buzzwords, but they never give citizens the actual detail. Like, well, what should I be looking for? You should be looking for Senate Bill 102 that was done in 2023 to understand who and why they banned all your rent control. I know this stuff that I can spit off the top of my head because I did the research.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that because you know what, you are about probably the fifth or sixth. I'm on a roll here with TikTok and finding all of you wonderful people that are running for the right reasons, and I have this thirst to talk to you all now, and I think all of you have said the same thing, that you know the laws, you know the what you need to know to get what you need to get done, or what you're trying to get done. And the people that are in office more and more and more are so unqualified. They don't even know what they're talking about. They don't know what needs to be done. They don't talk to people. They don't. So, yeah, exactly what you're saying. There's no connect between the people and the people that are advocating for the people.
And for Florida, the reason there is no connect is because of 100.361. You can't touch them.
Hmm.
And for our state or federal level, it's actually Article 1, Section 5 of the Constitution. Citizens have been told, we've been told for years, oh, you know what? We're going to get you in the primaries. And I keep telling citizens, hey, you're not firing anybody. You're just not rehiring them. You already gave them an,
Mm.
an
Okay.
egregious amount of time to not do the right thing and to make themselves rich, not doing the right thing. Stop
Yeah.
falling for this conversation that says we're gonna hold you accountable in the primaries. No, you're not. You're just not giving them the job again.
Renewing their contract.
Yes. And it's like, hey, who regular jobs. This is why this political thing is so interesting. You can't go to someone else's job and get hired and then say that, hey, now that you've hired me, I own your company.
Hmm.
No one would write that in. But in
It's not a thing.
politics, in politics, they wrote it in. Once you
Hmm.
hire
Hmm.
me, I don't have to have any conversation with you anymore. Which we saw over these last 2 years when they
Oh yeah.
said, no, we're not even coming out to talk to you. But they never said why. You notice no news station ever said why. No congressperson ever says why. They never say, oh, I don't have to talk to you because of Article 1, Section 5 of the Constitution.
Mm. They don't want to point you to it.
Never want to point any citizens to it. But
Mm.
that's where I tell people at this state level, when we send someone up to Senate, we're gonna come after you from the state. Because we're gonna change the rules to where in this state, you're accountable to your citizens. The conversation's got to come up. But if we keep taking the resources from the people who are already being stripped of your resources, we know that jobs are not being put out here, not the ones that are self-sustainable for a
Mm.
long period of time.
Oh no, they're going to be taken over by computers and AI and all that.
And now we're having this weird contradictory conversation that has people wondering, like, stop wondering, is it true? You just really have to go out there and say, hey, if AI is writing your papers, if it's being your secretaries, if it's counting the money for you, those used to be things that people did. So you're living your reality. So stop assuming that it's not going to affect
Hmm.
these areas. I don't, honestly, I don't think I'm positive that technology is healthy. The people behind the technology, they don't want to have another conversation which needs to be had, which is, hey, if we're going to create this world where we have these machines that can do these things, how have you thought about the integration of the United States of America, which is its citizens? How have you thought about the vast, if you're going to take away, if this is going to take away all of these jobs or be able to do all of these jobs, where's the conversation for what we're going to be looking at? Now, welfare is a terrible word in our society,
Hmm.
but subsidies seems to be okay.
Oh yeah, right, right, right. Because it's for corporations. Yes, yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They get the bailouts, and we get shamed and bankrupt.
But now you have states that are building multiple AI centers in their states, subsidizing using money from the people who are currently working. So those jobs, when high school kids come out, they're not getting these intern jobs because you don't need them for that. Because technology is taking us to a place
Mm-hmm.
where we really don't need the human aspect to be here, and that's fine. Well, then how do they survive? What do they do? That needs to be a conversation that every citizen needs to have a hand in.
I did an episode on AI and how it's going to be taken over and how many jobs are going to be lost. And one of the things that I learned from it is that technology did start out as something to aid us, and it's transforming into something that is taking us over.
So, what citizens need to ensure at minimum is that we always have access and accountability to hold
Mm-hmm.
our elected officials accountable, and not just
Mm-hmm.
by voting every 4 years. That's the problem. Accountability is not me asking for a job. And somewhere we got that kind of like mixed up, which is, well, when you come up for office, I'm going to hold you accountable. Well, what did I do the whole 4 years that you let me be in office?
Yeah, yeah.
I want to get access. I want every citizen to have access. The argument that I've heard too is, well, a lot of people aren't educated enough. I don't care. It's your job to inform them on what's going on, or at least that's what it's supposed to be. But we need to be looking at these job descriptions. Why don't we hear from our mayors without having to go to a mayoral meeting that happens the same time you're at work?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not able to be locked into what's going on, and even if you are locked in, what do you do with the information? I think
Mm-hmm.
that that's what's really sitting on citizens. I have all of this info, I have an opinion, but it's not weighted. So even if I get up in front of somebody and say something, these other people get to make vote on it, whether I agree or disagree. I need to make sure that citizens have that access, whatever it takes to get this access, except for you cannot go the same route. That citizens said, hey, if you're going to run for office, don't take any money. You got it. No, no issues there. That way we don't have to be concerned about you being bought by anybody. But now it's, well, do you also want to do your part, which is invest your time, be inconvenient because you're going to be inconvenienced. And that's where the stoppage comes in at.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly feel like one of the biggest hurdles, and that it's going to be the hardest to change, unless we get this kind of information out right here that we're doing right now. The defunding politics. There's no need for so much money to be flowing through there. It just creates more corruption and greed within people.
If you level out the playing field, if citizens had an equal stake in the power, you
Mm-hmm.
will see the money stop or dry up on its own. Because right now, it's easier for the lobbyists to buy in the state of Florida the 120 people that represent us. It's easier for them to buy 120 than it is for them to spread their money across the 22.9 million estimated citizens that are here.
Mm. Okay.
So if you start to have a law that says, you know what, I can recall you because you didn't do the job that you said you were going to do, and you gave access to citizens to be able to vote on every piece of legislation, every piece of county statutes that come out, you will start to see then that, hey, why do I need to pay you specifically when now this governor has expanded democracy to all citizens? I can't pay all of y'all to make this go my way. Things immediately change for the better once citizens start to invest their time in their state.
That's the only way politics are going to have any kind of change. And I don't care if you're left or right. The people have to be the ones to start making the changes through changing the way they vote.
Yes. And then you know what? And I even have it to where, like I said, I know citizens aren't going to immediately sit down every day and start going through legislation.
Mhm.
But as time progresses, having that access, having voices like yours put out this information, starting to have this technology let you know
Mhm.
that, hey, your county has a vote coming up on this issue and that issue. And my platform for the structure is going to give you the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Who is going to affect, what's going to happen, how much is it going to cost you. We're going to answer these who, what, when, where, why, and hows in a very quick blurb. So maybe you don't understand the meat and potatoes of the actual big bill because maybe your vernacular isn't there yet. But I'm going to give you a basic breakdown of, hey, this is how much this is going to cost you at your county level. This is how we're going to have to allocate this money so this happens. You're going to start to see these things. Eventually we will utilize this, what I like to consider this intelligence herd immunity, to bring our citizens up to these understandings. But the access now is available. And if you don't understand something, like I always tell people, if you don't understand something, then just vote no. It can be
Mhm.
great, but you don't understand it. So vote no. Don't say yes to something you can't decipher. And if someone say, why'd you vote no? Because I didn't understand. And now, when we do these things, we also create a place now where I'm able to open up an avenue where now a citizen can task their elected official to create legislation
Mhm.
because, citizens can get behind an initiative and not have to pay like they tried to do over the summertime to pass a bill in Florida where you had to pay $1 million to bring up an issue.
Mm. That's crazy.
It is crazy, but somebody thought about this and put it on
Mhm.
the books.
Wow. Right. Right. Like this is what it is. That's so what can other states learn from Florida? Good or bad?
Well, hopefully, I think I'm positive that people will see that, hey, there's a lot of benefits to expanding democracy to its citizens to kind of rein in this bad political atmosphere that we've had. So now citizens can get out of this toxic conversation of only being able to blame
Mm.
red or blue.
Mhm.
Hey, this administration, they'll say, the DeSantis administration. Well, which one of your specific representatives voted for this? And a lot of people don't know who
Mm-mm.
their representatives are.
Yeah, much less which
So,
one said what.
yes, so it's pretty easy to always call out the head person, which I think is part of the whole political show.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
don't worry about the other 120 people because, again, I tell people the governor's seat, whatever the governor wants to do, 2/3 of the body can veto anything that he puts out. If they're not vetoing it, then they're voting for it.
Mm. Yeah.
So these are Republicans and Democrats that are doing this. That's why I tell citizens I would prefer most of you start registering as non-party affiliated. You can keep your views, but get out of the
Yes. There are nuances. There are progressives. There are liberals. There are lefts. There are conservatives. There are Republicans. It's not just left or right.
correct. So if we do our best to get out of this red wave, blue wave
Mm-hmm.
rhetoric, then they'll have, like politics will have to, political science individuals will have to come up with a new box to try to put people in. But
Yeah.
now they just get to call you American.
Yes.
You don't get to say
Yes.
Democrat or Republican. They just get to say American citizens.
And on
Now,
that note, can I just say one thing? Because I was in another live after I happened on the one that you were in and we spoke. And it's a very powerful one, I believe. And it was brought up, and not to bring up okay, well, but I am going to. The whole American, this whole thing, black people are born in America. So they're not African Americans, I feel like. They're Americans. And this whole, oh, that black person, that white person, they're people. Just another divisional thing to me. It's left, right, black, white, brown. All these divisions are too in your face to not,
yes,
to get rid of divisions.
I want to say a root cause that I look at if I was to do a root cause analysis, it was the medical field that's kind of determining that even though we're all human, that for some reason it's been on a biological level that they said we're different. And I think that a lot of citizens understand this. Like they'll say that, we've heard that there are there was a Caucasian, there's Caucasian ways that they looked at medicine, and then there was black ways that they looked at medicine.
99.9% we are the same DNA.
And you know what? I think a lot of citizens believe that too. Like, hey, we're all the same. But for some reason, we have to. That's going to be one of those things where medical professionals are going to have to start saying
The truth.
yes. That hey, but it's going to have to come like
From
this.
profession, from, yeah.
Yes, because it
Yeah.
was a professional. It was a professional political pivot point that pushed this.
And you can be a professional and have your views too. So you can still be kind of biased in the way
Correct.
you put out information
But you don't have to
as a
be when we
professional.
find out that when we
Yeah.
find out things like, hey, some of our medical professionals were paid to put out
Mm-hmm.
adverse information.
Mm-hmm.
So these type of things, that ideology, you know, um, like always, I'm pretty positive that it's going to be generations from now before we get to a place where my everyday life looks on paper the same way paper does. When I go outside, no one's racially motivated to be negative. It's not happening like that.
Mm-hmm.
You do see the nuances of, I'll give you an example. There are times where I have different attire. I have a t-shirt, I got a collared shirt, I have a suit, I have a
Mm-hmm.
hoodie. These are things that I have my logo on. There are places where, yes, if I approach a Caucasian person with a t-shirt, they're a lot more reserved
Mm-hmm.
when to speak to me. And if I'm out, I noticed that, and I tried this out. Like, hey, I'm gonna go to a hot event. It was hot outside. It was during the summertime. With just my logo with my T-shirt. It's got my caption on the back. It says all over it, running for governor of Florida. But the
Mm-hmm.
T-shirt stopped a lot of Caucasian people from wanting to even give me an opportunity.
Oh, because you weren't dressed professionally,
Be- yes. So
as in
then,
having a collar on your shirt.
without having a collar on. That's correct. But when I approach any other race with the same T-shirt, there are no issues there.
Hmm. So what does that say?
You put that collar shirt on, you get more. I get more communication from Caucasians with the collared shirt on. I had a lady when I was in a T-shirt in the mall. She immediately like, no, 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 get away. I don't want to speak. And it was a family right behind her that gave me an opportunity to tell them, like, hey, I'm running for governor of Florida. Here are some of the things that I would like to change. And she was watching this interaction.
Mm.
Then she came outside when I was leaving the mall, and she was like, I'm so sorry. I
Oh,
talked
wow.
I talked to that family to figure out, what you wanted. And I
Mm.
don't act like that. I just didn't know why you were approaching me. And I just told her, I said, it's okay, because I needed the data anyway, to say that, hey, when I go out, even on a hot day, these collar shirts, they're not, you can get them as breathable as you want to.
To me, if you're wondering about a person, you get it from the source. You get it from that person. Why would you go to somebody else and say, "Hey, what did he want to come up to me for?"
Yeah,
Like,
because
I don't know, lady. Ask him.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of frowns down on personal interaction.
Yeah.
I put a poll out asking citizens, how do you feel about me knocking on your door? I promise you, like 90% of the citizens said, don't knock on my door.
Hmm.
Find a different way to communicate with me. I've done seven town halls, and I put out at each town hall, I put out 5,000 emails to the surrounding area.
Mm.
Out of all seven town halls that I've done, I've gotten less than 20 people. And I did this on a Saturday at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon so that it wouldn't be a burden on trying to get people to
Hmm.
show up. Right now, we're just at a place where I just, I think citizens they want change, but they don't want to be inconvenienced at all.
They don't want to be bothered with it.
Not
And
at
that's
all.
the thing. We're not at that critical point yet where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I got to do it to survive type of
You're correct. It's
situation.
like, oh, yeah. And people are like, oh, you get to that critical point when something critical happens
Hmm.
in your life. We're trying to be more preventative.
Hmm.
Uh,
Then
we
they're going to
need,
get up off their butts. But yeah,
yes,
it's normalized for things to be broken.
yes, yes, it is.
And
And
that's not normal.
it's not, and it shouldn't be. And we want people like you and me to say that, hey, it's not normal for you
Hmm.
not to want to be a part of your future.
Yeah.
And I look at citizens and I say, hey, you can't, yes, you have to identify. Like I did. I did have to take a moment to say, man, I'm a part of the problem and have been a part of the problem because the information has been available. I just didn't ask the question until it was necessary for me to go for the job. For 22 years in that military, I did more absentee ballots than going to booths. Hey, here's my absentee ballot. Here's my absentee ballot. But the thing about these absentee ballots is they don't even get turned in most of the time unless it's like a really close race.
Oh, wow.
So, a lot of people don't know all the rules and regulations these states have, even with these absentee ballots.
Behind voting, which is
Yes.
crazy. Yeah.
Yes. So,
Hmm.
knowing that all this information has been there, and then knowing that, hey, I can't do anything with this info. What do you mean you can't do nothing with it? Oh, you can go outside and protest all day long. But the law says that they don't have accountability to you. So how do you use this information that you have? And I think it's really sucked the life out of people without them recognizing that I ain't got time for this. No, you
Hmm.
need to find time for this.
Well, they ain't got time for it because we're too busy working our butts off just to survive.
You're correct. And that's why you need to find that last little push.
Hmm.
And I keep, like I see individuals that, we're not mad enough. You're right. But
Hmm.
you want to be
Hmm.
mad enough to do something violent when violence isn't necessary. It's not even
Right,
it's just not here. We're not here for that. Violence
right.
isn't the answer. Let's just change these rules. And then you can start to hold these people accountable. You see, even with these, take a look at these files. The main question people are asking about the Epstein files is really simple. What's gonna happen? Who's gonna be held accountable? But they're waiting for somebody else to do it because citizens don't have the power to tell the
You're going to jail.
yes, citizens don't have that to say, hey, we don't like this. So the narrative is now I haven't ran into any people, but I see them when I see some of these interviews that are like, I don't care what the president does. Well, okay. Well, what about those Congress people? Do you care about what they do?
Hmm.
I get it. If that's the one person you don't care about, what about these other people? Do you care about them?
What do you care about?
What do you care about?
Stand for nothing, fall for anything.
Yes, and the only thing that we want to ensure forever is that if something is illegal, it's at least investigated and either made true or false by law. Let's just get that out the way
And also without the double standards.
without the double standard. But right now, every politician's using the word illegal. But every
Mm,
citizen knows that
mm.
if you do something illegal, then someone comes to investigate you, maybe arrest you, and then you have to go to court to figure out if you actually broke that law.
Well, court's optional nowadays, but yeah, it's the way it's supposed to
Indeed.
be. Yeah. Just stating facts.
Indeed. But we're in a place where I think that it is a little we've created a contradictory society.
I mean, anybody would be confused living in America nowadays.
Yes, and they're like, well, you keep saying it's illegal, and illegal things get punished. So why do you keep saying illegal?
Hmm. Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay. I got you, Mr. R. Yes, sir. That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh. I see it now. I see. I mean, I seen it, but I see it the way you just put it.
You're
Holy
correct.
goodness.
It keeps messing with your. It keeps us in a contradictory mindset.
It's so clear to some folk and so unclear to others. And it's so unclear how it's so unclear to them. Do something. Gosh, dang it. Read a book. Um, maybe I got off a little off track there,
No, you
but
didn't. You actually hit something in the state of Florida that to me is really important, and it's our statute 1008.25.
well, you know some statues, let me tell you. You got them down. All right, go ahead. What is it?
All right. So our statute for 1008.25, it had a wording in there for our education system. And in this education system, it states that, and they use this word impart. They say we have to educate our students in part to performance. So Florida decided at some point, they were like, hey, well, let's come up with this 50% rule. This 50% rule says that, okay, no student can score below a 50% no matter what they do.
Okay. Well, that's where the roots come in, Mr. Glover. We got to go to the roots of every single one of these problems.
That's why I'm trying to address our root issues. If I give citizens more access, then we can start to have a ton more respect for individuals that get expertise in these areas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, these people with this expertise, they can put this information out to citizens and be able to vote on things that are healthy.
In an educated way.
You're 100%
I,
correct.
on that note, let me ask you real quick. These professionals, right? We go to school to be a teacher. We go to school to be a doctor. We learn these things, and that's how we become professionals is by education. Now, do we think that politicians need some kind of qualifications other than being 35 years old and 14 years living in the country?
No.
Why?
Okay, so there are specific
No.
jobs.
Oh, president. That's president. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. For the president, absolutely not.
Why?
Reason being, the reason being is there are specific jobs that should require, like the Surgeon General, there should be definite requirements for that. But
Mm,
the president's being hired, just like the governor's being hired by a myriad of citizens.
mm.
Or at least a myriad
Ah,
of citizens are trying to hire this person, and they all come from different educational backgrounds. Some don't have any of the institutional education necessary. When you need to be able to touch that lowest and that highest.
okay. I
If
feel you. I
you
see where you're going. But
Yes,
okay, wait. Let me interject real quick. I'm sorry.
absolutely.
So that made me come to another point where I didn't even think of this until you just said this. That okay, maybe not a qualification as far as education, but maybe some kind of cultural aspects of yourself. Like you need to be able to identify with the lowest and the highest, like you just said.
I think that
Some kind of cognitive
you know what, I had
training.
this conversation with a friend one day. I did say this. I did say that I do believe that the president, at minimum, he should have to have served in
In
this
the
country's
military.
military.
Ah, I've been saying that so long.
That I do believe. I do
Oh my
believe
gosh, how can you
that,
be in
hey,
charge of something you have never even like you
if,
died 5 times?
because if I'm going to give you the leeway to say that
Thank
you
you.
are an American citizen, now your cabinet that you're appointing, those are supposed to be our experts in their
Mm,
fields.
mm, mm.
If
Say it
you're going
again.
to lead this military, I want you to have at least been a part of it. You need to be a part of it. Give the citizens to say that, hey, at least you understand that you understand the military, that you're
If you're going to be in charge of the most powerful military in the world, maybe you should have a little bit of knowledge of it.
no less than 4 years you need to serve. You need to serve no less than 4 years in that
That's what I
military.
always say. But then they're like, well, that limits it very much. Well, then get out and serve.
Well, get out, yeah, get out and serve. But the reason I do it like that is because that's accessible to every citizen as long as you don't have any disabilities. The reason I won't say things like, oh, well, you need to have a college degree because it's not accessible to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
I
not.
feel you.
People will tell you, no, 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 anybody can go to college. No, they can't because everybody can't even get a loan to go to college.
I see what you're saying now. I'm saying, and that is unfair. I feel that. But it's also unfair that we can't get higher paying jobs because we can't go to college. It works that way too. Maybe we don't want to be president, but we want to make enough money to survive. And just because we can't go to college doesn't mean that we shouldn't be able to do that. So that's why I keep bringing that up. I keep reaching out to you folks to get the word out. It's so important right now.
No, I understand. I think that right now a lot of citizens are on the same page. It's just
I
they don't
hope
have
so.
access. They don't have access to make anything change.
Yeah, yeah.
All of our media, all of our news is owned by a very few billionaires. So the information that we see from mainstream media, you don't get to really see. But like you said, when you tap into these lives, when you tap into these citizens that are putting out this information, you're like, whoa, they're getting the interaction from educated citizens or citizens that want to be involved and invested. But you're not seeing that from mainstream media. So I think that we are in a healthy place. It's just we lack the access to do something with the information that we have. And I think that that's what's fueling a few citizens to say things like we're not mad enough. We're just
Yeah.
missing the access. So I know the right thing to do is to give citizens a lot more access to hold their elected officials accountable.
Mm-hmm.
That's the root. That is the root of it. In society today, a lot of parents are told that you're the problem,
Mm.
and reality is these kids are being influenced by things before you could teach it to them. And and it's so hard, like to tell them, hey, how come I can't just watch? Because there's a lot of information in
Mm.
that when I talk to you one on one, I can tell you don't understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you're already formulating an opinion that's adverse to what I'm about to
You're
bring to
about
you.
to say, oh, yes,
So
yes,
now you've made me, your parent, the bad person yet, and I haven't even been able to tell you how I got
yes. Oh, you are so right. You want to put out a last word? What's going on? What do we need to know?
I think if I had a last word, it would say, citizens, I expect for you to want access to your future.
Mm. Say it again.
I expect for you to want to have access to your future. If we reform these laws, we can get access to your future in a way that is healthy, in a way that keeps democracy in place.
Amen.
Get up and be a part and invest your time because they're already taking your money. So
Invest your time in your future.
invest your time in your future. And I do appreciate everybody taking out the opportunity to hear me out.
And we appreciate you taking your time to advocate for the people. I honestly wish you the best of luck. So thank you for being here, and thank all of you for being here. I will see you right here on From Dirt We Grow next week. Some more unfiltered truth. I bet you don't want to miss it. So be right here next Tuesday on From Dirt We Grow. And Mr. Rodney, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.